morning, brothers and sisters. Hector Murrieta with you once again on Catholic Commute. It's been a couple days since I've been on. God bless all of you. On this Thursday, September 20th, I believe, or 19th rather. I got my days mixed up, but just wanted to reflect on something that I heard at a conference from a keynote. The keynote was Luis J. Rodriguez. He's the author of a book I read years ago, fascinating book called Always Running. And the book is essentially retelling his life as a gang member in LA. Just a wonderful success story, this gentleman. And he was a keynote for a conference I attended yesterday, the Children's Network here in Ontario, California. Well, I'm not here right now, but it's near my house. Anyways, and in his keynote, there was a part that where he says, and I quote, "The Catholic Church kidnapped them." And let me give you some context. He was talking about, giving an account of his history, his family history. He had an image of his great-grandmother. He was talking about how she was a Tarahumara Indian or native out of the state of Chihuahua in Mexico. And in that picture, beautiful little old lady. In that same picture was his grandmother, rather. So the daughter of the great-grandmother. Anyway, so he was just telling the story of their life and how the struggles and everything. And if you're not aware, the Tarahumara indigenous folks, they do have a beautiful history. I mean, it's been rough. But anyways, in the context of that, he talked about how they moved from their, the land that they had inhabited for many, many generations. In this particular case, his great-grandmother and grandmother in the family, they moved to the city of Chihuahua, the capital. And it's in that context where he said that the Catholic Church kidnapped them, took away their culture, and this is his message, and things like that. So, and I don't mean to trivialize that experience at all. I feel like I'm fairly knowledgeable about that. I mean, I have a degree in anthropology, so it just fascinates me, that type of history. But it just struck me as the narrative, especially when we talk about native peoples, and here in this hemisphere, and when Europeans came over and started to colonize, how the Catholic Church capital is gets this type of reputation that the Catholic Church, I had never heard of it this way though, kidnapped them. So anyways, as you can probably tell, it struck me. I wrote it down. I figured I'd address it later, and I did. I shot him a tweet just explaining, and this is the point of this message here today, this reflection, that the Catholic Church did not kidnap, in this case, these cultures. The Catholic Church nowhere states that its goal, its purpose is to kidnap anybody. And my message to him was that I tie it to the recent scandals that we're hearing, again, that the church is going through. The Catholic Church does have people in it. Priests, bishops, cardinals, and lay people that, although they're Catholic, their works aren't aligned to Catholic teaching. So yes, one of the stated goals, if you will, or objectives of the church, yes, is to evangelize. That is not secret, but not to kidnap, not to do many of the things that are attributed to the church. And I just wanted to clarify that there are people that have done those things in the name of the church, but it's not the church any more than, and I would tell Mr. Rodriguez, even by his own admission, he did a lot of things as a young man that impression of what a Latino or a Chicano or a Mexican, insert here, whatever you want to put there, would leave a negative impression on other people that, that's how they all are. Or, look at those people. It's no different. And far from kidnapping his ancestors, in this case, his great-grandmother and grandmother, I think the Lord, and he established the Catholic Church, the Lord was bountiful with him. By his own admission, in his talk, he talked about angels along the way, came along the way, along his life, and saved him. And I don't doubt that one second. And I was thanking God that he at least recognizes that. So brothers and sisters, I know you probably don't need to hear, I'm probably preaching to the choir, as the cliche goes, but when we hear things like this, let's clarify that things like that, the Catholic Church, capital C, that's not what the Catholic Church asks its people to do. Ever since Jesus established the church, and we know this, Peter himself denied him. So from the very inception, people within the church, very high-ranking people, I don't know if you can get higher than Peter, Simon Peter, were doing things contrary to what Jesus was teaching. He even called him Satan. Get away from me, Satan. So it should, that part, even though it saddens us, and it does shock us, it should not drive us away from what the Catholic Church teaches. Because brothers and sisters, I think you agree, if we truly lived what the Catholic Church does teach, I think it goes without saying what type of world we would live in. So brothers and sisters, let's do our part, each and every one of us, to live those teachings fully and completely. Like we hear in the epistle, 1 Corinthians, I forget which chapter and verse exactly, but where it talks about faith and works. We can have the faith, but if it's not accompanied by the works that exemplify that faith, then that faith is dead. Okay, brothers and sisters, God bless you, and remember, let's live our Catholic faith the way it does ask us to live it. God bless.